Video games. You know them. You love them. Well, mostly. I've played many video games in my life, and I mean many. Just look at my collection. I've played many genres of video games before, but open world probably has to be one, if not my favorite. So naturally, Pokemon would also try to adapt to open world, releasing Pokemon Legends Arceus. But after that game, they really pushed on the open world, giving us Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, the 9th generation of the mainline Pokemon games that changed up the formula beyond what we're normally used to. Now, with Legends CA coming out next year, did these games truly live up to all the hype they received? Well, let's review it and find out. The story begins with the player enrolling in Naranja or Uva Academy in the Paldea region. You find the cover legendary wounded up on the beach, and after saving your life in a cave with a bunch of Houndoom, you decide to join you on your adventure even though they lost their ability to battle. From here we meet the 3 key characters: Nimona, your rival and a champion ranked trainer, Arvin, who comes off as a jerk but his actions are justifiable later, and Penny, a shy hacker who assists you in one of the stories later. A few days later, and the main event of the school, the treasure hunt, finally begins, where students are encouraged to go out into the world and find something that they can always treasure. It's at this point where the 3 main stories of the game actually begin: Victory Road, Path of Legends, and Starfall Street. Victory Road follows the formula of most other Pokemon games, fighting gym challenges to become a champion of the region. Path of Legends follows us helping Arvin find rare herbs so he can help cure his dog. So sweet. Starfall Street involves us being part of an operation to help take Team Star, the evil team for this game, down for good. Once all 3 stories have been completed, the final arc of the game, The Way Home, opens up. We need to go to Area 0 to meet down with the professor, so we gather everyone and off we go. We learn that the real professor died and that an AI bot took its place. The AI brings you down to a time machine, which has brought Paradox Pokemon from a distant time, to the present. However, because of this, the whole ecosystem of the region could be at stake. Because the AI is an essential part of the machine's running, we need to defeat the AI in a Pokemon battle to stop the machine for good. So we did. After this, the AI gets corrupted by the Paradise Protection Protocol, so we have to defeat it again, but our Pokeballs don't work this time. However, one still works, Koraidon or Miraidon, since it was originally the professor's Pokemon. So, because of all the memories of the journey or something, it's able to change into its battle form so we can battle and defeat the protocol. So we do again. However, since the AI bot itself is a crucial piece for the machine to work, it decides to leave to the distant past or future to prevent the machine from ever turning on again. The game ends with the 4 friends walking back home, and that's it. So that's the base game of the story, but we're not done with the story yet. So, around a year or so after the main game came out, the DLC for this game released, making it the 2nd DLC released for Pokemon, The Hidden Treasure of Area 0. This DLC comes in 2 main parts. Part 1 is the Teal Mask, where you travel to the land of Kitakami and find out the truth behind a local legend that resides there. Part 2 is the Indigo Disc, where you travel abroad to study at Naranja or Uva Academy's sister school, Blueberry Academy. After these 2 are complete, you return to Area 0 to find Terapagos, the literal hidden treasure of Area 0, although it goes berserk and you have to catch it. Those are the main parts of the DLC, but we're actually missing one more. Via a special mystery item, you can return to the Kitakami for the epilogue to catch Pechalant. Oh god, I forgot about the character. First, we have Rare, the proctor for the Kitakami field trip and has an obsession with terrestrialization, mainly with finding Terapagos. Then we have Kieran, a shy, lovable partner in the first part, but sadly turns against us in the second part due to what we did in the first. And Carmine, Kieran's older sister with a bit of a temper. Now, that's all the story, but what's the gameplay like? The main gameplay points of this game are still unchanged for the Pokemon series. You run around, battle Pokemon, and can catch them. Simple enough. However, instead of linear routes in this game, the world is open and allows the player to choose where they want to go more freely, instead of being limited to small areas. With such a big map, we need to find an efficient way to traverse it, and as we all know, walking is boring. That's where our trusty partner, Koraidon or Miraidon come in, our ride Pokemon for this generation. While riding on these Pokemon, you're able to traverse the land more efficiently and be able to unlock special abilities by completing the Path of Legends storyline. There's also no fall damage in this game, which granted might have been for the better. I still miss being able to completely die in Legends Arceus. Another neat gameplay feature of this game is the Let's Go feature, where you can bring your Pokemon out into the world to do certain things, like walk around, battle other Pokemon for you, and even pick up items if they're close enough. Pretty neat. Now, let's not forget the main gimmick of this game, terastallization. Terastallization is being able to transform your Pokemon into a different Terra type, which can be one of the 18 types present in the game. Well, I mean 19 if you count Stellar. Using this, you can transform a Pokemon into a different type completely for offensive or defensive purposes. This gimmick is actually very story relevant, as it is needed to land the final hit on the final boss, and is what Terapagos is all about, being lore-wise the Pokemon that causes terastallization in the first place. On the subject of terastallization, let's talk Terra Raid battles, where you and up to 3 other people can defeat Pokemon with rare Terra types and catch them for your own. You can either do this with computer players or real players. Actually, on the subject of that, Terra Raids aren't the only bit of multiplayer this game offers. This game actually offers quite a bit of multiplayer content. There are 2 ways to play. First is local, where you have to be near someone else who has the game to play with them. Online requires you to buy a $20 subscription service to play with people all over the world. With it, you can trade Pokemon, you can fight raids, you can even battle them. However, there is another more interesting way to play. Via the Union Circle, you can connect with up to 3 other players to play together in the same world and interact with stuff together. There's even special multiplayer stuff in the DLC, such as playing Ogre Oustin with up to 3 other friends, plus being able to take on special Blueberry quests exclusive to multiplayer modes. This game is unique for a number of reasons. As stated before, this game is fully open world, allowing players to complete any of the 3 stories at their pace at their own time. The stories themselves are actually another good point of why this game is unique. Instead of one story about the gym leaders to become champion, there are 3 stories that add quite a variety to the game. Another unique aspect is the amount of version exclusive stuff, like the schools, the lore, the uniforms, some Pokemon, and even the professors for once. The game's unique theming with the past and future elements are actually pretty cool with how they hide the motifs. Actually, there's quite a bit of motifs in this game where no one expects it. It's music. The soundtrack for this game is absolutely stellar. The game's music is also adventurous and even changes depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. For example, if you're riding Miraidon or not. The game's music can also be used to tell the story of characters and their motivations as well. Take Arvin's theme for example. When we first meet him, his music is very energetic and all over the place, showing how he's not that nice when we first encounter him. However, once we know his true motivations, the music reflects that in a more somber and forgiving tone. Take a listen. Another example of this is in Nomona's battle themes, as her final battle theme is more upbeat and energizing, signifying how she's able to let go and not hold back anymore. The game also uses some lay motifs in certain songs, mainly the Southern Province theme and the Area Zero theme. The Southern Province theme is referred to as the main theme of the game and is usually in scenes where Miraidon has a big role. It's even used in the final battle theme, where the jingle plays as a little hint at who to use. Heck, the full theme is even remixed into the final battle theme. As for the Area Zero theme, it's usually in places where terrestrialization has a big role, like the Terra battles. It's also used a lot in the DLC, for example, the terrestrialized Pokemon in the Terraria. And like in the base game, is remixed into the final battle theme. It's amazing how music can tell so much in so subtle ways, making music my favorite part in any video game. There are many positives and negatives about this game, so let's go over them. Several positives have been stated beforehand. One is definitely the world exploration factor of the game. It allows players to be more unique in their experience and not have to follow a similar route to other people. Another positive for this game is the story and all of its characters. All of them are very fleshed out and are easy to be likable and enjoyable and not boring, unlike other Pokemon games. Now, let's start to go to some of the negatives of the game, one of the most famous being the bugs. Anyone who played these games on or near release date probably know about the many bugs this game had when it first came out. And I mean many. Another thing is the lack of post-game content. Prior to the DLC, there was really nothing to do other than the Academy Ace and the gym rematches. While this problem was negated by the DLC, there was nothing to do before it came out. Another lackluster thing about this game is the frame rates. Running at only 30 frames per second, the game can look really slow and really glitchy from time to time, mainly in areas where there's a lot of objects around. Now, some may argue that the reason it's not at 60 FPS is because the Switch can't physically handle a game like this, and I say to that, bro, there are over 50 games on the Switch that run perfectly fine at 60 FPS that are more powerful than this one. Heck, there are mods that make this game 60 FPS. Look at this, it looks so much better. But do all these things really drag the game down? Nah. Gameplay, story, and music are three key motivators that influence my decision on a game. So even if the game doesn't look that polished or that finished, if it's still a very fun game, then I think it's a pretty good game. So, in conclusion, was this game still good years later? I would say so. It's still pretty fun and there's still a lot of stuff to do, even to this day. Now, there is a bunch of stuff I didn't talk about in this video, but I'm already on like page 4 of my script, and I don't think I can make this video any longer than it already probably is. So, yeah. This game is still pretty good and still has a lot of stuff that can easily be enjoyed by anyone who would commit their time to this. Do you think this game was pretty good? Maybe, maybe not. That's your opinion, and I should respect that. If you're hearing this, why are you still on the video?